Well, this is an episode of Doctor Who of all time, isn't it? This is one that everyone loves, correct?
Notoriously loved by all the fans.
It's, mate, fan favourite episode. Legend of the Sea Devils is what we are talking about today. What happened to it?
Yeah.
Why is it the way that it is?
I guess we'll never know.
Dunno.
But if memory serves correct, I think it's maybe the lowest rated episode on IMDb for Doctor Who.
You've got to ask me these questions pre-pod so that I don't sit here on the pod stumbling around.
I didn't even know I was going to ask it. I didn't know if we were going to go into IMDb bullshit.
Yeah.
It's either that or Ranscroft Collar. It's one of the two. Oh, no,
Orphan.
It's Orphan.
It's Orphan. Maybe. Could be.
Yeah, Orphan is got the lowest score.
The homies did not like Legend of the Sea Devils.
No.
And Russell went, well, who cares? I'm going to make a whole spin-off about it.
Exactly right. Just to give redemption to the Sea Devils.
That's it.
Give them the story they deserve.
So this is, I guess, a prequel to the war between the land and the sea.
Isn't it, in a sense, a prequel to the
Sea Devils? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Look at you, Mr. Wise Man, classic Who head.
Well, they did kind of mention it in the episode.
That's right.
And the last time I watched it, I hadn't seen the Sea Devils, so
it's
like the third time I've watched this
So
episode.
maybe you'll have a newfound appreciation and respect for it.
Well, we'll find out a little later on in the show.
That's right. This is our Legend of the Sea Devils spectacular episode. It's all we're really talking about today. It's so swashbuckling.
It's very swashbuckling.
It's a swashbuckling
That was
adventure.
from the OG trailer that came out.
That's it. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at 50Doctor, on TikTok at 50Doctor Who. Subscribe, do all the following things. You know you want to do it, and we know we want to hear it from you.
Oh yeah,
50% podcast.
Okay, before we get in and do all of the fun reviewy stuff where we have a bit of a laugh and talk about Legend of the Sea Devils, I thought it'd be really fun to do a little segment.
Yes.
Okay, and it's a Legend of the Sea Devil themed segment.
Cool. Okay.
But you are gonna hate it.
Okay. Why?
Because this is the segment where I read funny letterboxd reviews of Legend of the Sea Devils.
Oh, okay. Wait, you can do letterbox for TV shows?
They do it for like specials.
Yeah, I see.
So Legends.
Okay, so this counts. This was an Easter special.
It's like a movie. It's like a movie.
Yeah, 50-minute movie.
But I'll read the synopsis just to like warm everyone up. Okay. Legend of the Sea Devils is the second and penultimate episode of the specials of the 13th Doctor specials. I've lost my place. Legend of the Sea Devils is the second and penultimate episode of three special episodes. Legend of the Sea Devils is the second and penultimate of three special episodes that followed the 13th series of the British science fiction television program Doctor Who. The episode was first broadcast on the 17th of April 2022 as an Easter Sunday special, written by Ella Road and Chris Chibnall and directed by Hao Wang.
Oh yeah, it was co-written.
Yeah, man.
I forgot about that. Mm-hmm. So who's this woman?
Ella Road. The Who Corner to Corner podcast have actually had her on their podcast. Nice. And she said some cool things. No spicy tea about the episode as to why it is the way that it is or anything like that. But it's definitely a pretty cool listen.
Nice, okay.
In the episode, the 13th Doctor, Jodie Whittaker, and her two companions, Yasmin Khan and Diane Lewis, set out to find the hidden treasure of the Fleur de la Mar. However, they end up in the wrong time period and team up with Madame Ching, guest star Crystal Yu, as they battle the Sea Devils for an important gem. How cool. Mm-hmm. Wiki also makes a point to say it was impacted by COVID-19 in this production process. It received mixed to negative reviews from critics. It is the least watched episode in the program's history since its revival in 2005.
Really?
Being watched by 3.47 million. The special was also broadcast internationally. Great, thanks. That's never happened before.
Wait, so I didn't know that.
So no one liked this episode and no one watched this episode is the general consensus online.
Right, okay.
I mean, I'm sure there's people that like this episode. There always is.
Yeah.
As to why?
People like weird things, you know.
And they do. Back in 2022 when we reviewed it on the show,
What?
You gave it a 3, okay, which I think is understandable.
Shit. Okay.
That's it's a good, firm.
Yeah.
This is not good Doctor Who.
Tough
right?
but fair, you might say. What did you give it?
I gave it a 6.
Oh my God, you did not.
Now, I don't want to spoil after this rewatch of it what my thoughts on this episode are. What? But I'm going to just say that it will not be a 6 when I give my score after the rewatch. It could be higher.
It could be higher.
Newfound appreciation.
Wow.
Anyways, over to Letterboxd, okay?
Okay.
in quotes, I wish this would go on forever. The scariest line in Doctor Who history.
Yeah, it's true.
Each new episode fills me with such embarrassment because everyone thinks I like this.
Oh my God. That's kind of true.
Mm-hmm, that's kind of relatable. True. Hoping for Thasmin Endgame. Edit shit.
Okay.
The Doctor once again faces her worst enemy. Chris Chibnall's writing.
Oof. Yeah.
Fucking kiss and fuck for fuck's sake.
Yeah. Just get on with it already.
Utter shite. Some of the worst fucking editing I've seen. Russell, come back, baby. We miss you, X.
The editing is very bad.
It also has a cry for help for Russell to come back at the end of that review.
Those were the days.
Those were the days.
Those were the days.
And we thought that would fix everything.
Take me back.
Someone says, we're almost there.
Just one more to go. Just one more to go.
Yeah, how the fuck do you manage to disappoint me when I was already expecting nothing?
Yeah, that's true. That's a very good point.
Only one more episode, that's all I have to say. My disappointment is immeasurable and my day is ruined. That's cool ass next time trailer though.
That's what everyone spoke about when it first came out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it confirmed Tegan and Ace, which I don't think was confirmed until the trailer.
Yeah.
So everyone just spoke about that.
Yeah, that which massively overshadows.
I couldn't find anyone talking about it when it first came out.
It's because there's not a lot to talk about
not
on
really.
It. I guess I'll wrap it up with this slightly more wholesome one.
Okay.
Party rockers in the house tonight. Everybody is having a good time. Smiley face.
Why did someone put that on Legend of the Sea Devils?
I think because they throw rocks.
Oh my God.
What
a niche.
I don't know. It's worth saying on Letterboxd it has a 2.3 star rating.
Out of 5.
Yeah.
That's pretty high.
And people, no, it's not. That's pretty low. Yeah.
I wouldn't know. Not on Letterboxd.
Yeah, that's very low. And I won't read like friends' reviews or anything, but I'll say one of my friends is giving it a half star, another's giving it 1.5, another's giving it 1.5.
A half star? Wow.
Yeah.
So that's like the lowest you can do. Can you give it 0 stars?
I don't think you can give it 0 stars.
Wow.
Maybe. I've never tried.
That's like the lowest you can ever go. Wow.
That's right. But yeah, so Letterboxd fans are not loving Legend of the Sea Devils.
In a way, it's actually a very smart app. I can see why it's so big. Said me never.
Yeah. This was like a notorious continuation of... Well, no, it's a continuation of Connor notoriously hating Letterboxd.
Yeah, I hate everything popular. Which is why I love Doctor Who. That's my great joke.
Right.
Laugh. Please, everyone laugh.
Canned laughter.
Please.
Anyways, it would be remiss for us not to say that this episode features...
Quiet. Classic. I couldn't not just be excited for that scene to come on.
I know. And there's like a 10-minute scene leading up to it as well.
I know. I was like, I was like, when's it coming up?
I was
this
like,
is the location.
On the edge of my seat. Like, come on.
Where is it?
Where's the twat? Where's the twat?
And to be fair, the line is kind of funny with a lot of sharks out there. Do you get it? Like loan sharks?
A lot of loan sharks.
Well, the joke's about like, it's like, be careful, a lot of sharks out there. They're talking about like loans.
Right.
Like a loan shark.
Okay.
I thought it was maybe one of the better jokes of the episode.
Yeah. Because there wasn't a lot of... It's a very funny episode.
Unintentionally.
But not the one you're expecting. Not the humor you were expecting.
Yeah, so... Tell me this.
I will.
You're you know more about like filmmaking than me.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think happened?
I think, well, maybe we should say just before we do that, review wise, do you still think it's a shit episode?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It's bad.
Yeah.
It's so bad. As to why it's this bad, I think like the common theory is just something in production prevented them from getting it done. Right, like this doesn't, even for Chibnall's standard, this doesn't feel like a polished script at all. Like it strikes me as maybe some people got sick with COVID, or maybe they just ran out of time or ran out of budget. Like something prevented them on just actually finishing the episode that they went out to make, especially like the really odd runtime.
Yeah, because it's not, the rest were, I mean, Eve of the Darks was an hour and
yeah.
This is 50 minutes.
Yeah. So it really does beat me. I'd love to know one day what the hell happened, but I don't know. I feel like I don't know if we will
You
ever
should
get.
have asked John Bishop when you saw him.
Yeah, my brief encounter. So
Yeah.
John, please tell me.
Just tell me what happened here. They could have. That's probably one of the only ways you could find out is by like knowing someone who actually was on it.
Yeah, I'd be so curious. So curious.
I mean, I'm sure they sign like NDAs and stuff, but
but that's the thing. I think like we find out about Classic Who stories that had terrible production, but we still hardly know anything about 20 years ago Doctor Who that had terrible production in series 1.
yeah,
Like there's rumors and stuff, but I don't know if we'll ever know the ins and outs. So
me either. I don't. I know everyone always says like we'll find out one day, but it's like I don't know.
I don't know if we will. I just think society's not as it was back then.
What if everyone like who knows just like eventually gets old and dies?
What if everyone who knows just suddenly disappears?
Yeah, that does happen. It's crazy.
Mysterious.
Yeah, I don't know what happened here. I don't know. I think there's massive like script issues.
Oh yeah.
And that guy before mentioned the editing. Like the editing is just like horrendous, and from like the get go as well. Like it's almost like they were trying to make the episode in the edit,
Yeah.
and it doesn't make sense. And it's like they tried their best to just like patch together.
Yeah. I don't know.
Whatever they had. I don't know.
It's
I
a real
really
bizarre
don't
one.
know.
Yeah. Okay. One thing I'll give some positives for just to balance things out here. Okay.
Yeah.
I think the direction is not the weakest part of this episode. I think there's moments where it does fall flat.
OMG.
Like, especially I think in the last act, it all falls apart direction wise. There's nothing visually going for it at all.
Yeah.
But I think there's definitely some ideas there
Yes.
that you can tell they were going for stuff. Whether it's like the really cool lighting when they go back in time onto the
Yeah.
pirate ship and they make it look historical with that like old color palette. Even just the color palette for some of the sunset scenes when Dan and that are looking up at the stars and stuff. That stuff looks really pretty. And there's beyond just color and aesthetics, there is some really cool shot choices in there. But a lot of them you don't get a chance to look at because it's butchered by just ridiculous editing. Like there's an awesome shot of the little boat,
Right.
top down with a massive
And then
shadow
the
going
massive,
underneath
yeah.
it. But it's on for like half a second.
Isn't that a classic fish or something?
The Sea Devils had the Myra, I want to say, was a
Right.
creature in some kind of in Warriors of the Deep, I think.
Right.
And this is like a different creature, but it's sort of paying homage to the Sea Devils having a creature in the past.
Right. I see.
But yeah, do you know what I mean? Like there is some really cool and interesting shots in there and shot composition from time to time, but I just don't think the editing and just I guess like the corporate style of like just having to make something out of nothing allowed those moments to shine.
Yeah, so someone did tell me before
Okay.
the director was unfortunately probably just a little bit too inexperienced to take on a full episode of TV yet. She had only done a few short films, and although it was very nice for Chibnall to give her the opportunity, apparently, well, especially during COVID as well, I think you needed maybe an experienced director who like knew how to handle things when they're going even more hectic than usual.
Yeah, I could see that.
So it's a shame, really. I mean, I think I can see there being good elements in here. I think there's some stuff that could have gone really well. I mean, but even for some reason, like the effects look like at the beginning when like there's a sea devil in the statue, like there's these cracks going across the statue, and it looks really bad.
It's grim.
And we've been saying for a few weeks now how, you know, we feel like the Whittaker era doesn't get enough credit for the effects because it does look really good. But again, I can only put it down to not having enough time.
Yeah, because
Generally, what else could it have been?
there's some VFX stuff in this that looks really gorgeous. Like the monster grabbing the
there
TARDIS
is some things.
looks really nice. And
Yeah.
some of the green screens look really polished as well, I thought.
Some
like-
things had more time, maybe.
Yeah, it always baffles me. I don't know enough about high level post production to have the answer to this question, but it always baffles me when you have like even in like a Star Wars movie or something, you have like 80% of really polished CGI that looks good.
Yeah.
And then you just get like this random ass green screen or like a random ass CGI model that has no texture to it and just stands out like a sore thumb. I always wonder how they like delegate where the budget goes for these things. I don't know. It's just interesting.
I guess I would just assume that they would start on the harder stuff first and then near like the end of the production just work on the smaller stuff like that, and it's just like the amount of time they have left to work on it is where it goes. But
just a little follow-up there, just doing a little bit of a dive into the episode's director, Helu Wang, who is now our BAFTA nominated director, and she is directing an upcoming episode of the new series of Black Mirror.
Oh, I did hear about that, actually.
Yeah, and a few shorts. She directed a show called Bodies.
I know that show,
on Netflix, which I think had a bit of a buzz about it. But yeah, beyond that, not an awful lot. Like just a lot of short films and things before that.
It just sounded like everyone kind of got a bit, a bit shafted by maybe unforeseen circumstances. It's just a shame though, because like this is like the only I know like stuff like The Vanquishers and Survivors of the Flux isn't exactly like the greatest episodes of all time, but it still is like a fun part of the Flux narrative. And I think the problem with this episode is like it kind of is like the sore thumb. I mean, I think they could have gone for a really good 9-episode streak.
Yeah.
But it's like it's such a shame because it's not just like It does just feel like an incomplete piece of like TV that got just released on Easter as well.
Yeah. There's all sorts of crazy stuff in there that you just don't think that they would like. There's a bar of things that should be able to be allowed to go onto TV.
Yeah.
Especially on BBC One.
Yeah, exactly.
And the Sea Devil jumping into the spaceship is just ridiculous that was ever like, yep, okay, let's allow that to get onto air. Do you know what I mean? Like,
no, I do, yeah.
It's insane, some of this stuff.
When I saw stuff like that on the rewatch, it just made me think the only reason I feel like they would have done this is because they don't have like a way to get the Sea Devil back onto the ship.
Yeah, well, just teleport.
Just to make it.
Just fucking teleport or something. It's Doctor Who. Don't do a Mario jump.
Yeah, well, everyone just took the absolute piss out of it.
Yeah, because as they should. It's ridiculous.
I do wonder if, like, do you think they just ran out of time and just, like, this is pretty much all the footage they got? Or do you reckon there's, like, stuff on the cutting room floor?
I don't know.
Because it's 50 minutes, and I swear it should have been, like, an hour.
This is not the complete episode, I reckon. But whether they never got it, whether they had to cut it because it didn't work, I don't know. But I think this episode... from a script perspective as well, has a lot of negative things that a lot of Chibnall era episodes have. Now you can say what you want. Everyone's always said about like dialogue that's all exposition and things, which this episode absolutely is. But it's like so many Chibnall era episodes, not all of them, but so many of them, I felt like don't have any pace about them. Like they literally are just people going from room to room going dun 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 dun, and like Sagan's score really doesn't help it at times, where it's just like dun 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 beep. Yeah, that.
Great.
And because this episode, like, there's like a 10-minute sequence, like I was saying, that sequence in the middle where they go down into the Sea Devil's lair.
Yeah.
And it is just them like walking around for ages, and you're like, what is actually going on here? Like, what are they talking about? I don't get this techno jargon. It just goes on. Just to round that off before you speak, I do want to say, though, I think Sagan really shines in this episode because what he tends to do is he uses a lot of instruments that are reminiscent of like the sound of the time. So whenever there's a historical story, like of Demons in the Punjab, things like that, he always makes a really good score because, he uses things that sound like that time, and it's a really beautiful touch that Murray does a bit of naturally, but I think Sagan really goes hard, and this really sounded like a... an Asian adventure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's funny you bring up the whole like Asian culture thing because it's like I don't think it really has like much to offer at all. It does just feel like very cheap, and it's like you can just tell that this was none of this is like really like authentic or done well. And it's funny because, you know, the penultimate episode for David Tennant is also co-written.
Yeah.
It's like, I remember thinking at the time, like, oh, well, you know, but Chip always let me down with this shit. It's like, you know, if it's going to be co-written, it doesn't always mean it's going to be like really good.
Well, Chips was the king of co-writing episodes, wasn't he?
Yeah, I mean,
Throughout Series 11.
he was. I mean, and also like Village of the Angels was also where I was like, it's not, I don't want to act like it's terrible, but it's like, it definitely did, like, I felt like for episodes 1 to 3 of Flux, I felt like really good energy. And I think that's where it started to fall off a little bit for me. So I have been used to it not going great for like a co-written story. But part of me was like, surely there has to be something in here that's of a bit of value. And honestly, and I actually do like all the Phasmin stuff in the episode. If anything, it's probably the best thing in it. But it's like, if you just take that away,
there's nothing.
There's nothing. It genuinely is nothing. For a penultimate episode, it's like a big fuck all.
There's hardly any character moments with the supporting cast. There's one moment where the Pirate Queen, she's saying like her crew and her sons have been captured. And that's a nice moment. I don't feel it. Like there's something about it that's not quite punching you in the emotion like in RTD1 or even in the Moffat era you'd get. But other than that, like you've got a bloke whose dad's died, but you never feel that throughout the episode. There's a moment at the start where it's like, oh, my dad's dead.
Yeah.
Oh no.
And they put Dan in a weird spot where they're like, there's a scene where Dan goes up to him and he's like, I'm sorry that your dad's died. And it's like, what is this?
Yeah.
Like,
what are you going to do?
Is Dan just this like really nice guy who likes to support like kids?
I think he has his best line delivery in this episode.
Is it about the age?
Yeah.
That is really,
it's
42?
Yeah, 42.
Yeah. I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
No, that is a good line delivery. That's funny though, because like they go from the shore to the ship and it's like,
so easy.
There's no way on Earth if you weren't like trained to do that. I mean, like going against a tide.
Yeah.
And
it looked pretty flat out there. I could do it.
Even if I doubt it. I'm sorry, Aiden.
Couldn't.
And it might not look far away, but it fucking is. It really is.
Maybe Dan's taking swimming lessons.
Oh, who knows? Dan's like a superhero.
Maybe he's going down to the Liverpool, what's it called? Like pool.
Maybe he has, but like
Leisure centre. That's the word.
The leisure centre.
Yeah.
Like I do appreciate that they did the bit at the end with Di. And it's sweet.
All right, Di.
I guess it kind of ties into Power, where, you know, he leaves because he's like, I want to start a relationship with Di. And it's like, Chibnall's maybe like, maybe I should like throw this. Because at the end of Flux, she's like, don't talk to me. I don't like you anymore and all that kind of thing.
It's really odd that, I like that scene being in this episode, and that motivates him to start thinking about leaving. So then at the start of Power, when he nearly dies, that eggs him on to do it.
Exactly.
But it's odd that you never get him, you don't get a scene of him and Di in Power of the Doctor to like conclude that.
It's funny because I guess something else, like, it's like I'm giving credit here for tiny little things, but it's like I do appreciate that they actually got the actress back and it wasn't just through the phone.
Yeah,
and
true.
You can actually, it's not just like like a, you know, get them in like a booth for an hour or something like that. Probably like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It's like actually going and doing it. I do appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I guess that's the last thing I guess I say about Dan, apart from I do find the costume quite funny.
What's the point of being alive?
I think it's a good gag.
It is a good gag.
It works for me.
Yeah, it's funny. There's a line. There's another thing where it's like the script. There's some lines in it that maybe work on paper, but really don't work on screen. Or where like Dan comes out in his costume, and she's like, "At least you didn't wear the hook." And then he lifts up the hook and he's got it on because it's been out of shot. But it's like she would so clearly see that.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
And then there's also other moments sort of similar to that where it's like written in a certain way but doesn't work on screen, where the Doctor and Yaz, when they have their cute little moment looking out the ocean and then the floor falls down, and they do these sort of interesting but weird shot choices where the shot's like underneath them, looking down as the floors disappeared. And Yaz is literally just like standing there. The doctor's like, Yaz, the floor's gone. And she's like, oh shit, the floor's gone. What the fuck? Where'd the floor go, man? And it's like, I know she wasn't looking directly at the floor, but I think you see the floor disappear.
That's the thing. It's like literally like it's impossible not to be taken out of the episode.
Yeah, it's so many points.
Just been taken out and being reminded about what a shit show it is.
I have to talk about the experience of what it's like to watch this episode on Blu-ray. Yes. Because
okay, so
I whipped out the Steelbook.
Yeah, okay.
And so here's how bad Doctor Who was at the time. And this isn't a criticism of Chibnall. He doesn't control this stuff. But it wasn't a place where like the physical media of Doctor Who, other than the nice designs of the Steelbooks, they got some pretty designs. They were putting so little effort into the content of these discs. You get like 1 or 2 special features on each disc, and they're like 5-minute videos that have been released on YouTube anyways. But this is how bad it gets. You know how like through every era before that, even like series 11, 12, and 13 of the Chibnall era, they had like beautiful designs on the disc.
Yeah.
The Eve of the Daleks and Legend of the Sea Devil disc is a black background that just says Doctor Who, Eve of the Daleks, Legends of the Sea Devils.
No shot, really?
There is no art on it.
Wow.
And I think this episode has really nice art. It's got a beautiful poster, I think.
Just put a Sea Devil on it.
But don't you, just sidebar, the poster for Legend of the Sea Devils is really
cool,
nice.
Yeah, with the ship, and it's like, I
it's all blue, it's aesthetic.
Yeah, that is a good,
but yeah, so the disc is black. Okay? And then
good.
You put it in, and this is the other big red flag with this. You know how it's like, to select audio navigation, press enter now, which is a super important thing for people who are like hearing impaired visually impaired.
Yeah.
And you know how it always sounds crystal clear, as it should, because it's helping people that really need to focus on how it sounds. This is the most compressed audio that you'll ever hear, and it's like, to select audio navigation, press enter now.
Why did that?
And it's like, how is it that hard to use even like a phone microphone?
Yeah.
It sounds like someone's talked into their laptop and done it. Do you know what I mean? And you can tell the difference. It's like a minor thing, but for people who that does impact, would be very annoying.
Yeah, so this is the specials set.
Yeah, and it is just the disc from the Eve of the Daleks, Legend of the Sea Devils DVD.
They did it too.
Put into the set, yeah. Because then Power of the Doctor has the artwork on it. So it's really weird because it's like you got the black disc and then the Power of the Doctor disc.
Minimal effort.
So minimal, mate.
It's so funny. I on Christmas Day, Jeremy messaged me on Twitter, one of our faithful listeners.
Hi, Jeremy.
I send you it. It was like he got given by his mum Doctor Who Series 1 on Blu-ray. But it had like a Chinese, like all the options were in China, like the player was in Chinese. So I think his mum bought it off like Temu or Wish or something. It was so funny. But it sounds like you got the official merchandise.
This is the official. It's the
Steelbook,
and
crazy.
And it's just not great.
And they cost a pretty penny as well.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Now to give Russell his credit, it seems like the Blu-ray collection sets have a lot of love put into them, and particularly the collection sets as well.
Yeah, which we're obviously still running through the Chibnall era.
Have they've been really well done.
Yeah, but it was just like, I think the end where they all knew Russell was coming back, and and no one was really watching it, as you can tell by the viewership.
That is weird. Do you think it's because of the trailers as well?
I just think they didn't give a fuck when they put this thing together.
Really? That's crazy.
They were just like, this is a DVD that we need to do the DVD, or the fans will hate us. Let's just throw it out. Who cares? And just did do 2 things to it, and probably had no money put towards it as well. More importantly,
I know we kind of hate talking about this, but what did you think of all the fans and stuff? Because I reckon it's like the best part of the episode.
Yeah, I like it in this episode. I think it's I definitely understand like the queer baiting argument, and I think there's a larger conversation to be had, not from us, about how it plays out. That's right. But I think it's very the Doctor to have responded the way that they did in this situation, where they very clearly have feelings for Yaz, but given her lifestyle, she doesn't want to act on it. And I know obviously the counter argument is River's done it before, but that was obviously not the best relationship in the world.
Not by name, but
yeah. And that was obviously a very up and down, topsy-turvy relationship.
Yeah.
So I can understand after that, like a hesitancy to jump back into something like that, especially with someone who won't, because the difference is as well, like River will regenerate and live forever, whereas Yaz won't. River will travel through time and do all that stuff, whereas Yaz will do it with a doctor, but it's different than River. So I understand from a character perspective why the doc didn't do it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I completely second all that. Yeah. A line I did think was funny though, and Chibnall loves to do this, is the doctor compares River Song to Yaz. Like, he's like, you know, you're like, you know, the same. It's just so strange. Like, are you kidding me?
I don't know the line.
I forgot the line, but it's like, she says something along the lines of like, you know, my wife, it's like you're just as good as her, and you know, I'm like, what?
That's sus.
Is that true?
Imagine me saying that to my partner about like my ex.
Well, no,
you're just as good as her.
It's not. I more mean like I just don't believe it. Like,
yeah,
I don't.
Okay.
I barely know this character, and she's been in the show for 3 series now, and I don't even love the River Song character, but like the River Song character has like so much like character. She's like one of the like most developed characters in Doctor Who, and it's like I just don't know if I believe it at all. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm sorry.
It's crazy.
But apart from that, I do really like all that stuff. And I agree. I think that's exactly how they would handle it. You know, the Doctor always, like the Doctor being in relationships, it's like, you know, with male or female, I think it's just going to be like, I think they handled it well. And I think that's how I would see it as well. And I think that stuff works really well for me. It's odd how like they're trying to stop the end of the world. And then
I forget that sort of the plot
to, you know, chat about life. But I get it's a TV show and all that kind of shit. But
well, you got to have somebody character work in this episode, don't you?
Yeah, I just think there's ways of doing it other than like, you know, it's like, and also it's like how long has it been since Eve? Because they talk about the conversation that Dan and Yaz had and Eve about Yaz's feelings for the Doctor, and it's like, you know, how long has it been in the
well, doesn't Eve end with like, let's go look for the pirates' treasure?
Does it?
Yeah, something like that.
Really?
I'm sure.
Really?
We did it the other day. I'm sure.
Oh my god. Well, the other day, if you count like mid-December.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do we think? So at the time, people were having a fuss about this, right?
Yeah.
And I like didn't care. I was like, no, it worked. I didn't even notice it was CGI. I don't know what cocaine I was having.
Right.
These Sea Devils talking looks horrible.
Yeah, it does.
It looks disgusting.
Yeah.
What the fuck? I think it's because I was watching it in like 1 pixel on ABC iView. I never noticed it.
Well, get used to that coming back. And well, it's funny because I think the prosthetic faces just can't really move their lips very well. They're just like,
well, they don't move them at all. I don't think, because it's all just CGI whenever they do that.
They kind of just go like a little.
Yeah, but that's CGI, I think, still.
My God. Well, you know, you tricked me, Chris Chibnall. You know what? Can I be completely honest? I wasn't really paying attention. Because I'll tell you for why. I'll tell you for why. It's shit. I mean, come on, man. Like, I mean, I'm 15 minutes in, and I was like, we must be at least halfway through. It was 15 minutes in. I couldn't believe it. I tried to give stuff the benefit of the doubt, but like, I really didn't fancy. And like, you know,
God, this is you not watching half of the Ice Warriors again.
Oh Christ!
This is you can't come on and do a review and be like, I didn't watch the episode.
No, I did watch it
on my phone.
I did watch it.
Yeah.
I watched all of it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I didn't pay much attention.
Okay. The eyes just rolled to the back of your head.
I definitely watched it, but I don't know. It's like, here's the thing: it's like we're supposed to film on Thursday, and now we're filming on Monday, so it got pushed forward. And I don't really plan watching the episodes very well, and it's like, come back, it's a Monday.
Yeah.
I'm like Garfield, lasagna.
Well, you're telling me I finished watching it and you walked into my house.
Yep. Well, we both watched it on the same day. I'm just saying,
like,
I came back and I just like, you know, the Ashes is playing. I'm like, I just want to watch that. Something funny? Did I say something
it's just
funny?
the most ridiculous thing.
What is?
It's just be like, I'm going to review this episode, but I'm also going to watch the Ashes.
Well, sometimes you got to multitask.
I get it.
I've seen it, and then
I know.
I don't know what else. Like, I just like, I don't know. Like, I think, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it just, I don't know. Someone said I was too negative in the comments. I agree. I'm just trying to do my thing. You know, it's like it's like, you know, I don't want to try and be negative twice in a week, but no, twice in 2 episodes, whatever.
Why does he travel with someone as stupid as you?
You just didn't get Legend of the Sea Devils.
Well, does anyone get Legend of the Sea Devils?
Chris Chibnall on Ella Road, perhaps.
Do you like the design though? Because the design's
amazing,
cool.
And I think there's some really good sets in this episode as well. Like, I like some of the pirate ships. Not when they go under. It
12
looks
years old.
No, but like they work for me. Like the above deck
nice
pirate ships do, but below deck, well, below the ground, it looks like they just like pulled out some stuff from Praxius and just like threw some netting over the top, and then made it a bit green. Said Sea Devil sets, and then they'll bring it back for the spin-off.
I was going to say, so do you think we'll see these designs again?
If we are lucky enough to see Doctor Who for another like 20 years.
No, I mean in the war between land and the sea. Do you think we'll see these designs?
I don't think we will, no.
That's
I don't think we will. Because my point was going to be that I reckon we get the new design in War Between Land and the Sea, and then we don't see, because this is going to be 5 episodes of the Sea Devils, we won't see the Sea Devils again for a long time, I don't think. And so if we're lucky enough for Doctor Who to still be going 20 years' time and a showrunner decides to bring them back, I could definitely see them pulling more from the original design than the new design. And not necessarily because new design is bad, which it is, but we've not seen it officially yet.
Yeah, going off what we've seen.
But like, I just think you'd always maybe look back to the original and see what we could pull from that. So
yeah, Ross would be like, we're going to do something brand new.
Yeah, brand new.
Just
fuck that old design.
Yeah, it was awful. No one even liked it. It's like that's the one thing people all agree was good.
Yeah, yeah.
What do you think of what do you think of the end when they got the booty?
They got the booty, the bounty.
Yeah.
Well, I think
booty, for those at home who don't know, is what you call like the treasure.
I think it was a lot. I don't really give a fuck that they got the treasure, but
okay, great.
Before that, we had massacres of Sea Devils. Sea Devils being massacred left, right, and center.
That is true.
Dan Lewis with like the one. By the way, did he know that the sword would just like kill all 6 of them?
Well, there is a line from Doctor saying, "Don't let the sword like touch your skin."
But I don't think he even touches them. He just
in one swing,
which is crazy. Yeah, and Yaz says that as well. She's like, "Don't let the swords touch your skin," as she's like fighting someone.
So Dan
it's like, yeah, if I was fighting someone with a sword, I would also be like, "Don't let the swords touch my skin."
I think because they're supersonic swords.
Yeah, sure.
And Dan kills 5 Sea Devils. Okay, the first one he kills, he turns to Yaz and goes, "I'm not so bad, hey," and then she's like, "Not as bad as your costume." And I was like, "Oh, that's funny."
Yeah, actually,
you just murdered a Sea Devil.
It was a good joke, but then also it's kind of fucked up that he killed someone and had no. Is it because this is the first time he's killed someone, right?
Yeah,
and he does not give a fuck.
Yeah, well, because here's the thing though, it's like, and this is what I hope War Between Land and the Sea does.
What's so gone? Say again.
That's all right. I was saying, like, I think this is something really cool that War Between Land and the Sea can do is try to like make parallels to like the stuff that we go, well, stuff that like the world goes through and stuff. And because they're like natives to the sea and the Sea Devils like natives to the land. And I think there could have been something really cool here. You know, Chibnall did Cold Blood.
Yes,
Hungry Earth and Cold Blood, which I've always thought was underrated. I've always really liked it. And I think in the second part, that's where they had those conversations like how they can like live together on the same planet and not be at war with each other. And I think they could have done something cool with that here, but
I'm gonna be real. I don't. If that's what War Between Land and the Sea is about, I don't want to do that again.
That's what I want it to be.
But I think we got 2.
The political thriller.
They're not perfect episodes, Cold War and Hungry Earth, but they tackle that argument really, really well. And it's fully fleshed out. It's the point of the serial, right?
Well, that's Silurians, though. This is Sea Devils.
Yes, but who the fuck? That's like saying we'll just reuse all the Dalek plots with Cybermen. You know?
And they do. Well, that would be one of my stories that I would do for Doctor Who. Is kind of like Asylum of the Daleks, but with the Cybermen.
Yeah.
Let's just hope no one remembers Asylum. Do you know what? I've been on a bit of a Doctor Who frenzy. I watched Human Nature, Family of Blood,
Cracking.
Town Called Mercy,
Wow.
and The Caretaker.
Hey.
Mm-hmm.
Hey.
Mm-hmm.
You fancied a bit of Gareth Roberts?
I don't know. It's not it's kind of fun.
It is fun.
I don't know why I watched it, but that just popped in my head to watch.
It's fun.
And Town Called Mercy is dope.
Amazing.
And Human Nature, Family of Blood, I watched it. I came out from the cricket on Saturday night. I can't tell you what time it was, but I was like, groggy. And I remember I woke up the next day and I was like, did I watch that shit? Because it felt like it went so quick and it was like 2 parts.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, just to let everyone know that I'm still a Doctor Who fan. I know there's a few doubters out there.
I'm not.
You're not a Doctor Who fan or you're not a doubter?
No, both.
You're a Doubting Thomas, I see.
That's it. No, I've not watched Doctor Who for fun in a while.
Well, sometimes it's just like it hits.
Yeah.
And sometimes it doesn't. I mean, there's just so much. I'm rewatching Better Call Saul.
How good.
I don't know why. I just am.
Because it's so good. I was sat there with my Succession Complete Series Blu-ray and my Better Call Saul Complete Series Blu-ray, and I've not watched either of them yet. And I was ready to start one of them.
You've never seen Succession or Better Call Saul?
Rewatching them because I bought the Blu-rays. I've never...
Just letting the audience know.
And I was just weighing them up. And I went with Succession. Because I've seen Better Call Saul a couple of times during it whilst it was coming out. I get Better Call Saul. I've always loved it and appreciated it. But Succession, it took me a season or two to kind of understand that really dry sense of humor. So going back, and I've now finished rewatching season 1.
Nice.
And it is, it's so fucking funny. It's it's a show that you'd show someone and they'd be like, what is this boring ass? Why are they just talking and looking at each other? But it's you don't understand that the boring and looking at each other stuff is so funny. Every line and every look is fucking hilarious.
It definitely is an interesting show to wrap your head around, I think. Yeah. So my plan is rewatch Better Call Saul, rewatch Breaking Bad, and then rewatch Sopranos.
Where does El Camino fit into this?
Yeah, I'll do El Camino.
You gotta do it. You gotta do it.
I'll do it.
It's kind of shit that's at the end, isn't it?
Yeah. It's not terrible by any means.
Yeah, but it's not the rest of it.
Did they ever release that on Blu-ray?
No. Dogs. Netflix to dogs.
That's so funny.
Any last thoughts on Legend of the Sea Devils, mate?
Any last thoughts? I feel bad. Criticizing it, considering the circumstances. If this was in any other series, I have been very harsh, but I don't think it's a 1 star or 2 star. I think it's it's just something went wrong, obviously, and if this had happened not during a global pandemic, a once in a lifetime global pandemic, I think that we'd have every right to be a lot more pissed off than we are.
Yeah.
But because we don't truly know what happened and probably never will, maybe when I'm in my nursing home, my kid will be like, "Oh, by the way, they released a book about Doctor Who." I'm like, "Oh my god!"
About Legend of the Sea Devils.
Wow, I was right all those
years
ago.
The Legends of Legend of the Sea Devils.
Yeah, it's like a full-on book, thicker than the Bible.
One other theory that I just thought of then is to maybe another. I think a lot of things amalgamated into this not working, and I think perhaps another one is we know that the Centenary special actually got added after, because the original thing was that there was going to be 6 episodes and 2 specials, and then way later on in the game we found out that they'd added a 3rd special, which was Power of the Doctor. And so whether or not the sudden addition of a special for the Centenary maybe moved things around a little bit, who really knows what happened there. But maybe that could have stuffed up the scheduling for this episode or something.
Yeah, I also heard it's gone. Sorry. I had something to say. It was about Chris Chibnall being on Who Called the Corner.
Yeah, he says things on that.
And it's gone. It was something about... Oh, that was it. Great. I think this episode... I think he always had planned on doing this episode.
Right.
But couldn't find a slot for it. Honestly, though, it's just so funny because if it was just to, keep fans going, it's like, oh, we can't just do one episode on the first day of the year and then do one in October. They'll lose interest. It's like, well, fucking look at us now. Like we've had to go through so long without Doctor Who.
Yeah, been through the apocalypse.
So it's like I would just genuinely have rather it not exist, which is maybe a bit mean to say, but
valid.
That would help. That would have. Now it's just like there's this weird episode in between, and for a penultimate episode, it doesn't work at all, and it's so sad because Matt, David, and Peter all got really great penultimate episodes.
For what?
Penultimate. I can't ever say it.
You got to flip the M with an N.
Penultimate.
There you go.
And do you know who else got a great penultimate episode?
Who?
The 14th Doctor, Wild Blue Yonder.
That's true. Mm-hmm. Yeah. They also got a great second episode.
Wild Blue Yonder?
Yeah.
Funny. Very funny.
All right. So what are you going to give it out of 10?
I'll stick with my 3.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I just said then, I kind of spoiled it without meaning to spoil it. But I think going any lower would just be a little bit unnecessary because of the circumstances, which I can kind of like turn a blind eye to. But generally, I'll probably never rewatch this episode too. I do have the plan eventually when I get a partner or something like that to like show them the whole show. That's probably when I'll watch it next. So maybe in like a few years.
Good luck with that. I tried to do it with my partner and she was like, I'd rather.
Really? Not even
Just
like a
that's a joke.
Come into like a I didn't even hear you say not even like a compromise.
She's seen some episodes. Every now and then, like a birthday or whatever. Yeah, I get to chuck on I think I chucked on the one with the clockwork robots.
What, Girl on the Fireplace?
Yeah, one time.
Did you forget the episode name?
I just did, yeah. That's how little I give a shit about Doctor Who right now.
What the hell is going on?
I'm falling apart like one of those clockwork robots. I'm also giving it a 3.
Nice. So 7 to 3.
6 to 3.
6 to 3.
Pulled it all the way down.
So gone 3 down.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's grim. It's grim, but I understand a lot went wrong. And that's, you know what? Sometimes you make mistakes. And that's okay.
Yeah, well, yeah.
What are we doing next week, Connor?
I don't know, actually. Is it back to Sylvester?
It is back to Sylvester. What's
We're
next,
doing
though?
the Silver Nemesis.
You and your M's and your N's.
Sorry, Silver Nemesis.
Silver Nemesis.
And then there's that Silver Rat thing. That's from Closing Time.
Closing Time.
Is that one verse?
Is that a joke?
It sounded like something the Wombats would sing.
You're a fucking
It's closing
joke,
time in the bar in
It's the closing time for this fucking podcast.
Tokyo.
It's Aidan and Connor's podcast. We're doing Doctor Who reviews. Doing Doctor Who reviews.
Na 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 do do do. A skibby dee 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 da boodle, but I cut it.
Silence, girl.
Thank you, Strax.
Here's a conversation we need to see. Ready?
What's the point of being alive?
Yeah, you never fucking know the answer when it's important.
Soundbite King, ladies and gentlemen. Aidan Green.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.